Good evening and welcome to Face to Face. I'm Niresh Eliathambi. The election campaigns are in full swing in Sri Lanka with the presidential election just about 4 months away. Although it has not yet been set, that's what's expected. But most of the political parties seem to be still scrambling around, trying to find their candidates, their leaders, trying to ally breakaway factions. So many things are happening, and now there's talk of a cabinet reshuffle. So it's all happening. And to tell us more about it, we have with us this evening Mr. Maithri Gunaratne, President's Council and former governor of 2 provinces, who is now the convener of the Like-minded Consortium. Welcome, Maithri.
Thank you, Niresh, for the invitation today, and it's nice to be back on Face to Face.
So, the Like-minded Consortium, tell us about it and where it stands with all these political machinations going on.
Niresh, if you take the present political system and the parties, now if you take, we'll say the SJB, you will find that the SJB is also partly in disarray. Its chairman, Sarath Fonseca, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, one of its members, Mr. Champika Ranawaka, Dr. Rajitha Senaratne, and maybe a few others, are not 100% backing the SJB. There is a friction there. So, as a political party, the SJB must realize how can they go forward without their getting their house in order. That is one of the main political parties. Then you take the Pohottuwa, or the party which was made by Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa, where Basil is giving political leadership to that. Now, the SJB, the Pohottuwa, there is a group with Mr. Basil Rajapaksa. There is Mr. Parliamentarian Nimal Lansa's group is with Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. Then there is another group with Dalasala Peruma and another group of them. So, even that seems to be in disarray. Then you take one of the main political parties, 73 years of existence, the SLFP. The SLFP is in court. The chairman has been completely stopped or stayed from functioning. There is court case after court case going, that is also in disarray. So, then is the main political party, the JVP, one of the main political parties which have gained a lot of ground, I must say, in the last 6 to 8 months. Now, the JVP and the NPP, that is the National People's Party, I feel there is a massive mismatch. Now, I have come into this program, I have spoken to one of their representatives who had come here. I mean, he is a member of the NPP. He seems to be having a very, very liberal type of view. But this liberal view seems to be completely mismatched with the JVP's view. I mean, if it is the NPP and that gentleman who came, I can't remember his name, if it is that view, I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's good. That's what we need. It's a progressive element. But I feel that the NPP thinking pattern and the JVP thinking pattern are like chalk and cheese.
There seems to be a doubt about
there is a mismatch. There is a mismatch. So, until they can make some amends with regard to their policy, and all of them can sing from the same hymn sheet, they seem to be continuously getting into various controversies with regard to their policy. So, if you take all the political parties, Niresh, all of them are having their fair share of issues.
You did forget to mention the UNP.
The UNP, Niresh, I think the UNP is basically non-existent because they have not been able to get their act together. Mainly because I think, they are all known people to me, but they are not, the people who are running the party don't seem to be able to fire the imagination of the common man. So, therefore, they have not been able to get their act together. Having said that, I must say that Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, from the position he got into as president, Prime Minister, then president, he has gained some kind of popularity in these few months. But unfortunately, he has not been able to get the UNP activated and the UNP machinery activated to take that forward. So there seems to be now again a situation where there are horse deals being done. They are trying to win over the Port Tour fellows onto one side. They are trying to break the SLFP and get them onto and make some form of a government which consists of all these groups.
So it seems to be business as usual.
Yeah, business as usual. Business as usual. And when that is taking place, there is a large section of the people on one side. You speak to 10 of them and ask them, okay, next election now, if you have to vote, whom are you going to vote for? I mean, their answer is, well, there doesn't seem to be a person we can vote for, or we are not going to vote. Now, this is a serious issue, Dinesh. If this 40%, 45% people who I feel now is the floating voter. Those days, originally the floating vote was about 8%, 10%, 12%, maximum 15%. But with after the Araga, this floating vote has increased to about 40-45%. And they are the ones who are going to make the change in this country. So if those change makers have no option, if they have no option, or the only option is these people in different wine in different bottles, then that is certainly not going to be an option for this 40%, 45% vote base.
It's not the system change.
It is not the system change
expected.
they envisage. So that is why we have formed this like-minded consortium, because Nilesh, one thing is we need to get people to come and sit and talk around a table, because generally the business people, the successful people, the professionals, they are completely against politicians and politics. So this is another unfortunate situation. If they are against politicians and politics, then they are the very ones who are sitting upon the destruction of this country. Because today, 76 years of independence and governance of our people, we have been taken or driven towards bankruptcy. That is our competence. What is our competence in these 76 years? We have collectively allowed this country to go to bankruptcy. So are these like-minded people going to sit in the future also and see this 24 years also are we going to go drive this country to further bankruptcy? So this is the question which we need to answer, and we need successful people to come in whatever field, because it is only successful people who will be able to make this change. And what I am saying is, we need at least for 5 years people who have been success in their professions, in their business, whatever endeavor, to join us, to join and make this country a better place to live in. Because whatever said and done, we have all of us have opted to stay here when other people are going in search of greener pastures. So if that is the case, let us take this Project Sri Lanka. Project Sri Lanka, if you can take it over, we can make this a success. You take the leaders of most of these political parties. Have they run a tea shop? Have they run a tea shop? I don't want to mention names. I'm not in the business of bashing them. But what I'm saying is, what is the responsibility? You need a person who has taken responsibility. You need a person who has been a successful person.
Now, is your consortium, the like-minded consortium, are you backing any particular candidate for the presidency, or
No,
are you looking forward beyond that to the general election?
Yeah, our consortium is contemplating whether we should field the presidential candidate. So then that is being discussed, Nilesh, at the moment. But our main main focus is on the parliamentary election. For this parliamentary election, if we can get 150 individuals, out of this population of 22 million, we need only 150 individuals who are willing to take this challenge of contesting each district. We need to field at least 6 candidates per district. And if we can field 6 candidates per district, there are 22 districts. That is the amount of persons we can get into parliament, because there is a 40% vote, 40 to 45% vote who may not go to vote, because there is no option. So, if the like-minded people get together and make that the only option, then well, we have a harvest, a great harvest, 40%, 45% of votes to harvest, because I am positive that they are not going to vote with the current system or current people. So, this is our task. It's a very, very difficult task, Niresh, because moment you ask a successful person come into politics, why don't you contest? They want to put on their shoes and run away. Please don't be like that. We need your support. Without your support, this country cannot be changed. And we need only 150 people. If we have this 150 people, this is going to be an easy thing to do, a cakewalk, and we intend getting 40% of females contesting for the next parliamentary election. We intend getting 30% of the youth to come in, and then the balance will be of others who are presently wanting to help and take this project Sri Lanka forward, Nilesh.
Now, you also mentioned 40% of candidates should be women.
Definitely.
That's quite interesting, because I haven't heard such a high number coming from any of the parties. Actually, they're still talking about the 25% that's supposed to be allocated in the local government. And nobody seems to be talking about parliament itself. But you're talking about 40% of candidates to parliament should be women.
Definitely, because Niresh, if you take the population in Sri Lanka, women are more than men.
That's right.
I think there is about 56%.
I think it's closer to 52.
52.
Somewhere there.
Anyway, there are more women in Sri Lanka than men. And the other thing is, if you take their representation in parliament, it's only about 5%. And the other thing is, if you take the apparel sector, women. If you take the plantation sector, it's women. If you take the garment sector, it's 70% women. So, the main sectors which is bringing in, then the foreign employment sector. If you take all these sectors, the main income earners, they are the ones who are running this economy and bringing money into this economy. But they are not represented in parliament, or the representation is not enough. So, therefore, I have come across some very, very promising ladies when we have had the political discussions. So, we been able slowly trying to persuade them to run. Well, they are not averse to it. But they want because they don't know. They feel that this is a very difficult process. They feel that there is going to be a lot of money which is needed. So, what we are trying to say is, we are a group, we don't have the money, because we have led a very honest life, and we can live comfortably. But certainly running a political campaign, now each presidential campaign, they are talking of 5 billion. The budgets are 5 billion. So, Nilesh, now when you have a 5 billion budget, you are certainly having so many IOUs to so many people. So, can that president, having been elected, if he is elected, ever be able to pacify the voter or do anything on behalf of the voter of this country? Whereas, if the like-minded consortium can forward a group, if we can do that, we have no IOUs to anyone. The people will have to take our campaign forward. Today, we don't need to paste posters, we don't need to put up banners and spoil the environment. Today, we have the smartphone, and messages are disseminated within seconds. A candidate can be popular within 48 hours. it is reaching every nook and corner of the country, the social media. So therefore, there is nothing to worry. But only thing we need to do is we need to galvanize these like-minded people. All of us who want this change, who want to make Sri Lanka a better place, we must get together. It is our project. It is our future. It is our children's future. So if all of us get together, we definitely can make this change.
Now, Maithri, with most of the parties in disarray, is there a possibility or a strong possibility of a hung parliament?
Well, if there is a parliamentary election race, I can't see anyone getting more than 40, 50, 60 seats. I don't think anyone is going to be. It's going to be definitely it's going to be a mixed parliament, and it will have to be maybe a national government, which is also a good thing, because too much of power concentrated on a single group has been a disaster for Sri Lanka.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Disaster for Sri Lanka. So we don't know how to use the power for the betterment of Sri Lanka.
I think almost every time there was a 2/3 majority,
they kicked the ball into their own goal. Now, I mean, Gotabaya Rajapaksa got a 2/3 majority. He couldn't go on for 2 years or 3 years. From the day he started, it was bad. So therefore, I of course feel it is a good thing to have a hung parliament. Now, if you take most of the countries in Europe, all over, for that matter, all over the world, they are not getting strong parliaments. And the other thing is, it's simple as this: if you are doing the right thing, why are you worried? You may be in the opposing party, I may be in the governing party, but if I am doing the right thing on behalf of the country, why should you object to that? So why we need these 2/3 is behind, in our mind, we want to do something which is illegal. We are trying to do a private agenda. That's why you want these 2/3. Otherwise, if you are doing the right thing, on behalf of the people, you make your policy, and if you are going to implement that policy within 5 years, why do you need it? And if you say, okay, we'll say we are going to develop all the schools, we are going to make these smart schools, or we are going to develop the classrooms, would you object to it if you are on the opposition? If you are going to develop the health sector, we are going to minimize people going to the private health because we want them to come and enjoy the government health facilities. Today, Niresh, if you are sick, seriously sick, the best hospital is a government hospital. Because at any given time, you have got the best doctors there. Because even if you go to a private hospital, if the situation gets bad, what happens is they transfer you to a government hospital. So therefore, any government, if they are clamoring to get 2/3 majority, they have got a sinister idea in their head, that is, they want to come and do something which is illegal.
Now, in this scenario of a hung parliament, the minority parties, and in fact the minority voters themselves, they take on added significance, don't you think? And also, I'm asking you this question because you've been a governor of 2 provinces, Uva and Central, which have very large plantation communities.
Yes. One thing is, Nilesh, I am against using the word minorities. We have to come to terms that we are all Sri Lankans. This minority business must stop, whether we like it or not. Whether I am not there to pacify or try to get votes by saying, we are this and this. This religion bashing, race bashing must stop. You can't have this. As a country, we cannot develop. As a country, we cannot go forward if we are going to think in a very primitive way. Singapore, you get only Singaporeans. You don't get Chinese, Tamils, Muslims in Singapore. So therefore, Niresh, we must please don't say minorities. They are not minorities. They are our brothers and sisters. All of them are our brothers and sisters. So what has happened is this. I would say most of the leaders of those communities, now this PR system this PR system has bred this minority politics, which is a absolute, if I may use the word, a curse for this country. You cannot have, because now what happens is this: if there is an election, the Tamil guy is going in search of the Tamil vote, the Muslim guy is going in search of the Muslim vote, the Sinhalese guy is not only going in search of the Sinhalese vote, he is going in search of a caste vote. So, not only a caste vote, then he is going in search of a religious vote. Now, if you put a Sinhalese guy in the Gappa district, he will go in, the Christian guy will go in search of the Catholic vote there. So, we are doomed. we are doomed. So, you cannot think on those lines. You have to be Sri Lankan. What your religion does not matter to me. What language you speak does not matter, and we must bring in English as a language which unifies all these people. You know, otherwise what is going to happen is, Niresh, we are going to hear the same hymn sheet of this separation, you know, of communalism, you know, trying to get hatred within each community. Sometimes you can see, these are slowly happening when you see news items and things like that. That has to stop. If you don't stop it, we are not going to develop as a country. It's just simple as that.
So, let us talk about the economy.
Yes.
Now, you are optimistic that given the right government in power or the right people in government, that within a few months this country can be set on the right path.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about your vision for that.
Niresh, if we have the right people, honest people, immediately corruption will be able to reduce it by about 75 to 80%. So, if we reduce the corruption by 75 to 80%, I think 10-15% of our problem is solved. If you reduce the corruption, then thereafter, Sri Lanka is such a country which has been geographically so well positioned, and we are basically an agricultural country. So, I have got 10 what do you call 10 centers. We are going to make it 10 centers. One, we can, if we do our agriculture right, we have no proper agriculture policy. If you do our agriculture right now, for instance, one example I am giving you, we have 14,000 Grama Sevaka divisions, and each of these 14,000 Grama Sevaka divisions, you get a payment called the Samurdhi payment, given to so-called underperforming or underprivileged people. Every month that is given to them 10,000, up from 5,000 to about 10,000 rupees, and most of those fellows are using it for consumption of alcohol. So, they are, by giving these free handouts, you are not promoting economic growth. You are taking money from the taxpayers and paying people not to work or to drink. So, therefore, what I am saying is, my suggestion for that is, let us build 10,000 greenhouses for 10,000 Grama Sevaka divisions every month. A greenhouse only will cost about 1 million rupees, a 1,000 square foot greenhouse. So, within 1 year, you build 120,000 greenhouses. If it is a 5-year program, you have got 500,000 greenhouses in 10,000 Grama Sevaka divisions. So, then there is 500,000 greenhouses, and when you have greenhouses, Niresh, what happens is, your agricultural produce is not stolen by wild animals and not ruined by transportation. So, 50% of it is saved, because it's all been grown under proper conditions. So, automatically we can develop a system where we supply our vegetables and fruits to other countries around us. Already we are doing it in the Maldives. Already we are supplying places like Pakistan. We can go into markets like Bangladesh. We can go into markets of India. We can go into the Middle East. So, we need to position ourselves. Is there a plan with regard to that? Who is the political party who is talking with regard to this? So, if we plan it that way, and our tea, if you take our tea, Niresh, Ceylon tea was the most popular brand in yesteryear. Today, it has faded away. We are not promoting it. We are not promoting it. We need to value add it. And if we can get $1 more for our tea, by value, because today they say that tea is a health beverage, and we are unable to sell the health beverage. You get Coca-Cola on top of Siripad or Sigiriya, but you can't get tea. I mean, that is the dilemma we are in. So we need to promote this. I mean, so many others. Then if you take that is with regard to agriculture. This is just only, I'm just only, because there is a limited amount of time. But then if you take the river system. Now we are a country blessed with so many rivers which are flowing down from the hills.
Over 100.
Over 100. From the central highlands they are flowing down. Niresh, within 48 hours after a heavy rain, water has been released to the sea. What are we doing to protect them? I mean, there were a lot of schemes which have been implemented, not that nothing has been done, but still this water is going out to the sea. So now what I am saying is, we have a highway system going from Negombo right up to Mattala. We need to continue this highway system right around the central highlands, and with the highway system, if you have been on the highways, you will say it's built on a high embankment. We can do a massive irrigation channel around this highway system, so much like a cartwheel. If you place a cartwheel on top of on a map of Sri Lanka, right in the central highlands, you will see the rivers, like the spokes of the cartwheel are the rivers which are flowing down, and the frame will be the irrigation channel which is going right around the highway system. If the Kalani river is overflowing, you divert the water either to the Dadruya or you divert the water to the Kaluganga. If the Kaluganga is overflowing, you divert it to the Ginganga. Like that, you may be able to take this water to all parts of this country without sending most of it to the sea. And today, the northern and eastern provinces, the biggest problem they are having is they have no water.
So you are talking about trans-basin irrigation canals, which is a reality in many countries.
Many countries. If you take, I have been watching some of these Chinese projects, Niresh, which they are doing. I mean, they have spent colossal amounts of money. But these are projects which are going to pay us back this money within a short period of time.
Especially if it's aimed at export agriculture.
Export agriculture. Now, for instance, Niresh, you take the Jaffna Peninsula, you take Kilinochchi district, you take Mena district, you take the Mulativ district. They are basically functioning on rain-fed agriculture. But if you can give them water to work 3 seasons, I mean, their economies are going to improve. They will never think of going in for terrorism or anything like that. All this evil can be put into their minds only when they are poverty-stricken. So you need to empower these people. You need to empower these people. And the other thing is, Niresh, we are talking of 2,500 years of civilization and all that. We are still sending housemaids to other countries. I mean, can't we upgrade it to a caregiver? If you give them a 6-month training, in Europe, 60% of the population is aging. People who can afford it are looking for caregivers. They are willing to pay $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 per month. So without sending a housemaid, a raw housemaid to the Middle East, and they come back with so many problems. They come back, they leave so many problems. They create so many problems by leaving. By getting our youth, training them to be in the nursing service or medical service. Those are areas we can get $2,000 a month. So if we have a target of 10,000 people, we train every month and send them for foreign employment on those lines. These are definite ways of getting large amounts of money as foreign currency, which we don't have. So there are so many ways, Niresh, and I am not talking of any scientific, no rocket science here. This is very basic, plain and simple, pragmatic ways of going forward. Now, if you take a Grama Sevaka division, there are 5 officers paid by the government on a monthly basis to look after Grama Sevaka division. Each of them are getting a minimum of 50,000 rupee salary, all the perks and privileges. What have they done in developing a Grama Sevaka division? Now, when I was governor of the Ua province, I was there only for 3.5 months. I rallied around these people and I said, okay, I need 10 entrepreneurs being developed every 6 months from each Grama Sevaka division. I want each family to make 500 rupees a day. 500 rupees a day. For a person who is living in the village, Niresh, if that household gets a 500 rupees additional income, that's a colossal amount of money. If you make it 1,000 rupees, that is fantastic. So, if you can develop 6 entrepreneurs every 6 months, or sorry, 10 entrepreneurs every 6 months, you get 20 entrepreneurs for 1 year. Within 5 years, you have made 100 entrepreneurs in a village. And when I say entrepreneur, you are not talking of a massive businessman. You are talking of, we'll say, if a person has chickens, and if they were producing 10 eggs, get them to produce 50 eggs. If you had a person who had a cow who was producing 20 liters, get them to have 2 to 3 cows and get more milk. So then what happens is, Niresh, now we are importing eggs. I mean, our agriculture policy talks of it. We are importing eggs from India. We are bringing milk powder from abroad. So moment you do these two, your import substitution kicks in.
Absolutely. I think we actually import a lot of our staple
food.
Yeah.
Our staple food.
Dal,
from everything.
everything.
So all that, Niresh, can be produced here. But have we got a system? Has anyone been speaking about that? Has anyone said, okay, now Badulla district or this area, we are going to grow tomatoes. You all can only grow tomatoes. Hambantota, you can do this. Dambulla is very good for the bee onion, the big onion from India. We don't need to bring it from India. We can produce it here. And if you produce the big onion here, our farmers in that area will be going in double cabs, and it will be real, 5-star farming. I mean, these are not impossible tasks, Niresh. These are all possible. It can be done. We have all the wherewithal to do it. We have all the wherewithal to do it. I am saying this with experience, and we have done it. We have done it. Now, for instance, you take the Badulla district, the Bandaravela, Norelia, that belt, Velimada. Roses grow the best there. There was a friend of mine who came from Australia, and she was telling me that if we can grow the proper roses here, she can get 1 plane load of roses every week. I mean, that's you're talking of super dollars. These are not big things. And who is going to benefit? Roses, ladies who are at their homes will be doing it as a side business.
So, in a sense, it's back to basics.
Back to basics, no rocket science.
Yeah.
No rocket science. If we are an agricultural country, Niresh. I mean, I'm for a moment not against industrialization. But if we do our agriculture right, if we produce our food for ourselves to eat, then we don't need to bring it from abroad. So these are the basic things which we can do.
Absolutely.
So political parties, they must come and talk about how they are going to. There is no point in my coming here and talking, Mahinda Rajapaksa did this, so and so did this, so and so did that. That is not going to solve the problem. What is going to solve the problem is how are we going to go forward? What is our way forward? Now, for instance, they are talking Mattala is so bad, Hambantota port is a waste of money. But what we are saying is, no, now it is a part and parcel of our furniture. So let us make Mattala, let us make this an aviation and a naval hub. Let us make this an aviation and a naval hub. Now, for instance, now you know that China, Japan, Korea, those are the countries which are booming now. And what they get their resources from Africa, the African continent. So for them to fly to Africa, they go through Dubai or Abu Dhabi.
Right.
So if we can cultivate the system where they fly through, make a air passage from Asia through Matala to Africa, you are cutting their travel time by about 6 or 7 hours.
Absolutely.
You know,
So
then even the Hambantota port, we should, and I hope they are doing it. We should make it a feeder port where all these large vessels can come and unload their containers, so that we can send it to Bangladesh, we can send it to Pakistan, we can send it to India, we can send it to the Maldives. We can do that. Then even if they have to unload vehicles for transshipment to various other countries, they can unload it in Hamban. So that way, Niresh, we need to have so many hub statuses, hubs functioning, and you need to get the best people in the business who can run it, and the state only should first. State can't go and get involved in those. If we want to develop our aviation hub, if we want to develop our maritime hub, you get the best people in that, and the state only will do away with any kind of obstacles which are placed by the authorities.
Absolutely. And I'm afraid that on that note, we are out of time. My thanks to Maithri Gunaratne, President's Council and convener of the Like-minded Consortium.
Thank you very much, Niresh. Thank
It's
you.
been a lot of food for thought.
Thank you very much.
And we hope to have you back soon once again.
It will be a pleasure.
And thank you very much to you at home for watching. Don't go away. The news is coming up next. Have a good evening.